Good evening, saints and sinners. I'm up here on a parking lot rooftop just finishing off the sun and the heat of the day, and I wanted to make a video. It's interesting, this video is on discipline. Discipline has been my arch enemy to my style of living. Think of Jocko, fun podcaster to listen to. He says that discipline equals freedom, and I've had a limited amount of that in my life. So I just wanted to share my story with this. The word discipline within my life, first time came up was I was probably 23, did a prayer counseling where you get 3 or 4 people that you kind of sort through your past, ask questions, and pray over things and go after some freedom. And I was in this prayer counseling for about 2.5 hours, going through everything, and a thought came to me and said, man, this is so boring, waste of time. And the funny thing is, the last half hour of this prayer counseling, all the counselors and even I knew that the word discipline was brought up, and it was lacking in my life, and it was something I needed. And I've always done short bursts of discipline in my life, then on my terms I quit, enjoyed what I wanted to do. Anyways, the second time discipline came into my thoughts and ideas of things, we were doing this Encounter God weekend, and I'd done the Encounter God weekend, so the second time I was in the back praying and prayed the whole weekend. And the last session of the class had to do with discipline, so I went to the front, went into the sanctuary, and hung out with the class on discipline. And the funny thing was, so my whole life my beliefs up to that time was what I was taught, that when I get married, you go through a rebuilding, or you go through a honeymoon stage, a resentment stage, and a rebuilding stage. And I just hated that so badly. And while I was in that session class, God just kind of brought that up to me, and I was taken back for a second, and he asked me, is that in my word that you have to go through a resentment stage? And I was like, no. I was so excited, and I was excited I don't have to go through that resentment. Anyways, that with discipline was only because of that class that I ended up showing up, and I'm sharing that part of the story. So I got a little bit of notes of things just to kind of go over a little bit. And I want to say everything, but sometimes I forget, but in front of a video or something. So anyways, here we go. Resentment. Oh, wait. Already said that. So I've had a job for 13 years before COVID. So there's a level in my life that I've worked hard, and I'm just going to put this down, and hopefully I say everything. There's a level where I've even had jobs or at least twice in my life, where I worked 22 hours straight. When it was needed to be done, I did it. But my whole life, I've not wanted to work my life away, so to speak. And whenever I was at work and it was slow and they said, anybody want to go home, I was always raising my hand. So, I'm ready to go. I'll go home. And so lived that life on my work on my terms. Let's see. I just want to say everything and not miss anything. But at the same time, it's kind of funny. I want to shut this off and do a good video. even with my style of living, it's had its rewards. I went to Switzerland for 6 months, and I didn't have a job and didn't have to pay rent, and so I left and went to Switzerland, and it changed my life. I learned about the prayer room and experienced it while I was there, and how it has its rewards. Even though I've lived from that time and learned that till now on my own terms, God's always been faithful. His word here, let's look up the scripture. The King's word says, "But when you pray, go into your room, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father who is in the secret place, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly." And He has honored me, even though I've been not doing that every day. Did it half the days. He has rewarded me, He's honored me, and even when I've been unfaithful, He's been faithful. And I don't want to live life on my terms anymore. I want to be deliberate with the rest of my days. Love discipline. Might say that with a smirk. I know there's a verse that talks about that Jesus is coming back for a bride, one who has made herself ready. It's interesting talking about it in a her sense, in a sense, His word says He's coming back for a bride, one that has made herself ready. And all I can say is, Father, I ask for 3 things that you hate that I do, that is in my life, so I can get rid of it and change, so I can please your heart more. Father, I ask for 3 things tonight that you will show me, and so I can live for you the rest of my days, being deliberate. Discipline. Love that. There's some good scripture verses in the New King James and the NASB. Actually, there's more in that scripture verse, in that version. There's 2. Job 36:10. He opens also their ear to discipline, and commandeth that they return from iniquity. Proverbs 23:12. Apply your heart to discipline, and your ears to words of knowledge. So I want that Proverbs 23:12. Apply your heart to discipline. I know it'll have its rewards on all levels. I've seen it, experienced it, and I want to experience it some more. Well, saints and sinners, I'll close with this. There's some disciplines that I'm going to put in my life for the next 40 days I'll share. And of course in a video after 40 days. And I'll get back to you. Well, saints and sinners, have a good rest this evening, and chat at you later.